You're about to hear a story that'll make you rethink everything you believe about strength, silence, and the will to rise. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to her mission Diaries for more true stories of grit and glory that'll leave you speechless. They called her Ghost. Not because she was mysterious, but because she barely spoke a word. The first day she walked into Marine training camp, shoulders straight, face calm, no makeup, no smile, just quiet determination. You could feel the laughter ripple through the ranks. The other recruits, all loud and full of bravado, took one look at her small frame and thought it was a joke. "Who let the librarian in?" Someone snickered. "She's probably here to deliver mail," another laughed. But Ghost, whose real name was Ava Reynolds, just kept walking. She didn't flinch. She didn't fire back. She didn't even blink. The instructors, hardened by years of service, barely looked at her twice. To them, she was just another rookie who wouldn't last a week. What they didn't know was that Ava wasn't new to pain. Her father had been a Marine before he was killed in combat when she was 11. Since then, she'd trained every day, not to prove something to the world, but to prove something to herself. Silence was her armor. Discipline was her language. The first few weeks were brutal. While others collapsed during endurance drills, Ava kept running. When her arms trembled during push-ups, she didn't stop until her knuckles bled. And every night, when laughter and gossip filled the barracks, she'd sit quietly by her bunk, sharpening her focus, memorizing combat patterns, studying every movement the instructors made. The recruits thought she was weird, until the day everything changed. It was during the hand-to-hand combat evaluation, where each recruit had to face off against an instructor. Normally it was one-on-one. But the lead sergeant, a towering man named Briggs, decided to make an example out of Ava. "You think you belong here, Reynolds?" He growled. "Let's see what you've got against 6 of my best Marines." The other recruits burst out laughing. Even the instructors exchanged uneasy looks. 6 Marines? Against one untested girl? It was cruel. It was impossible. But Ava just nodded once. When the whistle blew, the first Marine lunged. In one fluid motion, Ava sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and flipped him over her shoulder so fast the crowd went silent. Before he even hit the mat, the second Marine charged. She ducked under his swing, hit a pressure point on his ribs, and he fell gasping. By the time the third Marine realized what was happening, she'd already disarmed him and had him pinned to the ground. The next 3 tried to attack together, but it was like trying to catch smoke. She was fast, efficient, precise. Not a wasted motion, not a single drop of sweat. When the final Marine hit the mat, Ava stood still, her breathing calm, her face expressionless. The room was silent. No laughter, no mockery, just awe. Sergeant Briggs, who'd been smirking a moment ago, stepped forward slowly, eyes wide. "Where the hell did you learn that?" he demanded. Ava finally spoke, her voice low but steady. "From my father." He said, "Silence makes you dangerous." That was the first time anyone heard her voice. That was the last time anyone laughed at her. From that day on, the recruits stopped calling her Ghost as an insult. It became her legend. Every Marine in that camp knew her name. But for Ava, this wasn't about glory or proving people wrong. It was about something deeper, something she was still running toward. If this story already has your heart racing, make sure to subscribe to her Mission Diaries. The weeks after that fight changed everything. Ava became a quiet legend at the camp. She never bragged, never boasted, she simply performed. Every obstacle, every drill, every challenge, they said she moved like water. But beneath that calm surface, there was a storm brewing. She hadn't come to the Marines just to follow her father's footsteps. She had come to uncover something that had haunted her since the day he died, a classified mission gone wrong that no one would talk about. The truth came to her one night by accident. She was cleaning the training bay when she overheard 2 officers whispering. "Reynolds doesn't know, does she?" one said. "Her father's unit never made it out because of bad intel from inside the command." That was the night Ava's mission changed. From then on, every push-up, every mile, every strike was for him. She wasn't training to be a Marine. She was training to find the truth. When deployment orders came months later, Ava was selected for an elite recon unit, same division her father had once led. The others still underestimated her, though they respected her silence now. Their first mission was deep in hostile territory, a night op that was supposed to be simple: retrieve data from an abandoned compound. But when they landed, everything went wrong. The comms went dead. The backup team never arrived. And as the others panicked, Ava took charge without saying a word. She led them through the shadows, hand signals clear and calm. When they were ambushed, she reacted before anyone else could. 3 shots, 3 hostiles down. No hesitation. She dragged one of her wounded teammates to safety, patched him up under fire, and kept moving. Her silence became command. Her calm became courage. And when the team finally reached the compound, she found what she was looking for, an encrypted file marked with her father's unit name. But before she could access it, the enemy closed in, 10 against 4. Her teammates were pinned down. It looked hopeless. Until Ava did the unthinkable. She broke cover, sprinted across open ground, and took them on head-to-head. To everyone watching, it was chaos, but to her, it was clarity. Every move was deliberate, every strike controlled. By the time the dust settled, the enemies were down, and Ava was standing over them, blood on her hands, tears in her eyes. Not for the fight, for the truth she'd uncovered. Later in the debrief, her commanding officer pulled her aside. "You saved your team," he said. "But that file, why risk your life for it?" Ava looked at him, her silence returning like a shield. "Because some missions are personal," she whispered. It was the last time anyone asked. Months later, she was promoted quietly. No ceremony, no applause. Just a new patch on her shoulder and a new resolve in her heart. She finally read the file. Her father's mission hadn't failed because of him. It had been sabotaged. And now, she had the name of the man responsible. That night, as she looked out over the base, moonlight reflecting off the metal she refused to wear, she smiled faintly for the first time. The girl they had laughed at, the girl who never spoke, was now the most feared operator in her division. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was focus. It was power. It was her mission. So, if Ava's story inspired you, if it reminded you that strength doesn't always roar, and silence doesn't mean surrender, then take a second right now to like this video and subscribe to her Mission Diaries. Because out there, stories like hers are happening every day, and this channel is where they're finally heard. Remember, some heroes don't shout. They simply act. And that's what makes them unforgettable.